Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is New York attorney Jordan Merson. Jordan, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to get your reaction to a verdict we found earlier this week, which is a jury found Trump liable in civil court for sexually abusing writer E. Jean Carroll in a department store in the 90s, but unanimously rejected her claim that Trump raped her. What's your reaction to the verdict?
Well, I think the verdict was very well reasoned and well founded. The evidence seemed to overwhelmingly indicate that, a sexual encounter that was unwanted and unconsented to occurred. And the amount of the verdict, you can't say it was a runaway verdict. I mean, it was a, very reasonable amount for this type of occurrence.
And in your experience, the jury only took a few hours to deliberate, I believe less than 3 hours. Did that surprise you?
Not really, because the more evidence that's presented, the longer it takes. And when there's more doubt, the longer it takes. And here, Trump's team didn't really provide any evidence. So they were just assessing the credibility of what Miss Carroll did. And so I wasn't surprised. And the fact that the verdict took a few hours means, again, that they were thinking about all these things and they were considering the different arguments, and they made a decision based on what the evidence showed.
And I want to break down how much Trump owes. He owes $5 million in damages and $2 million in damages for sexual abuse and roughly $3 million for defamation. Is it surprising that he owes more for defamation?
Not really. I mean, it's somewhat, but I think, it just goes to show that juries and New Yorkers in general really don't like it when a sexual abuse survivor comes out and, the person who's accused of the abuse speaks badly about them to a lot of people. And I think that's what you saw from the verdict, right? I mean, they thought the sexual abuse was bad, and then the defamation was even worse and caused more harm.
This is just a drop in the bucket for Trump, the $5 million. But when will he have to pay?
Well, I mean, he's going to appeal it. There will be probably a judgment entered if that hasn't been done already. I mean, it depends on a whole bunch of, legal and mechanical rulings. So it's really tough to say. It depends on what the judge decides. Trump's team's already indicated he's going to appeal. So it depends on a number of factors. Tough to say.
So when could we get an official decision, or is this a long stretch ahead of us?
I don't really think it's going to be, I mean, potentially it could be, but if it goes up on appeal to the Second Circuit moves pretty quickly. So I don't think you're talking about a years long process. I think you're, probably looking at something later this year or early next year in terms of finality. But, from what I've seen, I don't see that there are many, if any, issues that I think will result in a likelihood of the verdict being appealed.
Jordan, you've represented victims of abuse victims of powerful men, including Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Cosby, and Harvey Weinstein. What are the main differences you saw in those cases versus this Trump case?
Well, in Weinstein and Epstein, those cases did not go to trial, and in Cosby, it's to be determined. And I think what it showed is, some are more willing to accept accountability and responsibility, and Trump made a decision to try to fight it all the way, and it didn't work out.
Jordan Merson, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.